Okay, some more 2v8 here in Dead by Daylight, and matched up again with another Huntress. And unfortunately, it is Mother's Dwelling, and this map is something else. Of all the maps for them to choose, I mean, I get it, it's still one of the biggest maps in the game, but still. There's so much junk on this map. I feel sorry for Huntress players on this map because it's just so unbelievable the amount of line of sight blockers that you have to contend with. This game mode is incredibly fun. It's a very refreshing change of pace for a game where it's pretty much been the same thing. As I mentioned in my first video, however, I don't think it'd be nice if they did, but behavior tends to weigh numbers as the most. The numbers are going to be showing them that not enough people are queuing for survival in the regular game mode either. Pleased with that, I'm sure. So it's, yeah, I knew they're all around here. It's so hard to just focus on one sometimes. So if you take a look into the bottom left, right above the wailing bell icon, you'll see a little, it's a hook counter, but you're sending them to cages. So it's like a cage counter. I always like to keep track of that and just compare how I do to the other killer player. See how many survivors I've caged versus how many they've caged. It's good to do that because then you can, to a certain extent, measure yourself against other killer players. It's not something you need to stress out over. It's just something that, you know, I like to see how I measure up. Versus how other players do. Because you'll always get people who say you suck as killer, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, now to a certain extent, I can prove them wrong. I can say, well, you know, I think I did pretty well this match. Or I think I did pretty well getting a certain number of survivors caged or hooked or whatever. Even though hooks don't matter in this game, really. I mean, they're like shots on goal. You should count shots on goal too. Better players take more shots on goal. I honestly don't know how people play Huntress in this game mode. I played her once. She is just way too slow. My aim is bad anyway. Plus on maps like this, it's like, forget it. I would never be able to carry my weight on a team. I would not feel comfortable playing Huntress, especially on a map like this. I feel like I'd be laying my teammate down. I've had the most success with Wraith, so Wraith it's going to be. I really wish, as I said in the first video, that I could play as Singularity. And he was super greedy. He really wanted that gen done. A little too greedy there, buddy. I really wish I could play Singularity in this mode because I think Singularity is going to be my new main. I've been having more success with him even over Wesker. I think Singularity is actually higher in the tier list than Wesker. Singularity might be a top tier killer. Given his changes, they feel really good. I've been doing nothing but having, winning with him in matches. I could go on a win streak, but I mean, those are kind of pointless. But I've been doing so well with him, I could go on a win streak. And he's just been very enjoyable to play as. But unfortunately, as I explained in the first video, I don't think they'll be adding any more killers to this mode. And I think they won't be extending it either. Because as I said, behavior is all about the numbers. And when they see the numbers for queue times and people queuing as killer and as survivor in this mode and people not queuing in the regular game mode, they're going to have a real problem with that. This is a very unfavorable... And she's got another pal right there. Yeah. These are very unfavorable loops for Wraith. They've strengthened a lot. Okay. I don't know how I got her there. But I did. They've strengthened a lot of the pallets. First of all, they added just a ton of pallets on these maps. And a lot of the weaker loops they've actually strengthened. So, if you can play around a pallet, you should do so, since it is way too time-consuming to go around breaking all these pallets. There's just too many of them. But some pallets you have to break. There's no getting around it, especially with a killer like Wraith, who's a simple M1 killer. Fortunately, I can body block with it. Okay, this was quite the intense match. It usually is when you're on this map. This map is one of the worst maps, I think, in the game in terms of just in terms of fairness. I mean, this map. To me, it would be a complete exercise in frustration. All right. Yeah, pretty good Huntress. Did a lot better than I would have. That's for sure. Oh boy. And there's always at least one survivor who's salty. Feng was not happy. I don't even... Which Feng were you? I think there were two. You do realize it's harder than ever to keep track of survivors in this mode. I mean, if I see, like, if she's talking about when I came across her when she was injured, I'm sorry, if I see an injured survivor in the area, I'm going to go for them. I can't ignore them. That would be stupid. I mean, come on. I'm just supposed to ignore you if I see you injured and you're running toward me? And no, I'm not going to turn my brain off. That's done.